Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Women in Trades, the 4%. Thank you for continuing to listen and make sure that you're subscribed to keep up with all the new episodes. Today I have Cassie Herrera here with me, and she is an equipment operator. Today we are just going to let her jump right in and start telling her story of how she got to where she is in her trade.
So, like many years ago, before I was an equipment operator, I worked on an organic fruit farm. So, on that organic fruit farm, I was around the tractors and running the tractors and doing all the hard labor farm work. I actually had a friend that moved to Alberta and she started being an equipment operator. And I was like, well, if I can run a tractor, I want to run a rock truck. So I ended up moving back to Alberta, which is where I was originally from, and applied for a job and got a call 2 days after. Started out in a tractor and then moved up to a rock truck, ran scraper for a bit, and then it was history. Essentially moved up to a dozer, loader, skid steer, side boom, excavator, and I'm at where I'm at today, 13 years later.
That's awesome. Are you currently in a union right now?
Kind of like, it's called CLAC, so it's like Christian Labor Association. So it's like kind of runs like a union, but not really. Like it's structured like one, but you wouldn't really call it a union, or people here don't call it a union.
Okay, gotcha. That's cool. And so, did you have any family members or anything that initially inspired you to want to work on the farm or run equipment in the first place?
Actually, so when my parents retired, they moved from Alberta to British Columbia and they bought an apple orchard and turned it into a vineyard.
Oh, that's
So that
awesome.
was a reason why I had moved to BC, was because I initially went there to help them out and kind of start a new life. And then within that, I ended up dating someone whose family owned an organic orchard, and then I was working on their farm and working on the family farm, and yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
What would you say that some of your biggest challenges as a woman in your career have been so far?
Probably trying to constantly prove that you can do your job. It is like, when you're in this for so long and you know you're competent and you know that you can do your job, it is so hard when you have new foremans or you started a new employer or whatever it is. Then you have to like prove that you can do your job again. And I feel like I'm constantly trying to prove myself.
Yeah. I feel that. Now I'm lucky because I've been with the same company for 7 years now, and we're like a relatively smaller company. Everyone knows each other. Word of mouth gets around really good. So like if you do work or if you don't work, like everybody knows. So I'm really lucky because I'm finally like respected and they know like I can do my job. But my foreman still like he'll try like taking chain falls and stuff down. He'll try and like get to it before me, and then I grab it and he's like there like ready to help me if I need it, and then I don't need help, and he's like, "You just amaze me. You are so badass for your size." Because I am like a pretty small person, so
Yeah.
I understand like they don't want me to get hurt, but I'm like, dude,
I've been with the same company for the last like 4 years now, but I have a lot of rotation of like upper management and stuff like that, or
yeah,
foremans. It's not always been the same. I've been the same, but I've watched people come and go. So then they come and I'm like, again? Or like you say, they try to take the work away from you. And I'm like, no, 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 like I got this. This is
yeah.
fine. Like loading like 1,000-pound packers into like skid steer buckets. I'm like, boys, hold on. I'll show you how to do this easy way. And then I'll try to lift the things, and yeah.
The one thing that I will say about the foreman, I've been working for him pretty much constantly for over a year now, and I've worked for him on and off my whole career, but I really appreciate him because he like put me in the equipment like in our Skytrack, and he like made me be the operator. Like most of the time, I had foremen who were like, "Do not let her in the Skytrack," like, and it's just like, like that operating isn't the main part of our job, but it's finally gotten to the point that sometimes I'm the only person on a job site that knows how to operate the Skytrack now. So
Yeah.
it's just so funny looking back to like my second job as an apprentice, and the guys wanted me to learn and they wanted to teach me, but the
Yeah.
foreman was like, don't let her, like,
In your industry, it's nice to learn how to run those because there's a lot of times when there isn't an operator and
yeah.
you need the telehandler or whatever around to do what you need to get done.
Yeah, we pretty much like there's not an operating company at our job site right now, so we have our own SkyTrack and our own forklift, and I'm like certified to run it all. But we're doing 20-inch pipe. Like we are not picking up and moving that by hand. We have to have and all the old guys like they know how, but I like to operate because you're in Canada. Is it freezing there right
Yeah,
now?
it's cold.
Yeah, it's freezing here too. Literally Monday, -30 is our wind chill Fahrenheit. So I don't know. But
It's almost the same. Like right now, it's -20 Celsius.
yeah. So I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm gonna at least like I don't have to be out in the cold. I'll be in the SkyTrack if we are outside. So
That's the one thing I love about operating is that I'm cold in the summertime and I'm warm in the winter.
last summer, the air conditioning was not working in our SkyTrack, and it was like a greenhouse in there. I would be dying because it was all like closed cab. You have a
Yeah,
window, but like,
it's not enough.
yeah. So what would you say that your biggest success has been so far in your career?
Being a woman and being able to operate everything that I can operate because a lot of people don't get that opportunity and they get stuck in packers and rock trucks and because that's a woman's job or whatever. But and then I also like if I have really good laborers, I'll let them hop in the machine and teach them a little bit of stuff if we're on a site that's like wide open where it's like safe to do so.
Yeah.
I like teaching people and yeah.
It is fun to teach the new hires or the apprentices and just see them learn and advance in their careers as
Yeah,
well. And it's like, I
because if they
taught them
don't get
how to
the
do that.
yeah, like someone's got to give them the opportunity, or else they're just going to be on the ground forever.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me because I originally never wanted to be a welder. Like, construction and the trades was not in my plan at all. And
Yeah,
especially being a welder was not in my plan. But after working around them, I'm like, I think that's something I want to do. And my I had a foreman at the time. He was the foreman and the welder, and I was the fitter and the fire watch basically. So
yeah,
I'd like help him, and he was like, "You wanna learn how to weld? Like, here's my hood. Literally weld this." And I'm like, "Okay," and I tried it. I'm like, "This is cool." When it got slow, he's like, "Send her in the shop, teach her how to weld." So they did.
yeah. I've
It's
seen
been
your welds; they look
life-changing.
nice. Your welds look good.
Thank you. They didn't back then. They were bad. It comes up in my memories, and I was just posting. I'm like, "Why did you post that? That is embarrassing." Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah, totally. The boys at work once let me weld, and it actually wasn't bad, and I was like super proud. And they were like, "It's really good." I was like, "Thanks." And that was the
Yeah.
one only time I ever welded. It was. I kind of wish that that'd be something I would take up.
I'm glad that I did. It's definitely opened so many doors for me, but long term, I have like seen what it does to your body. My eyesight, one eye from getting like flash burned so much is just like so much worse than the other. They try to make it seem like it's almost like a bad thing if you end up like being a fitter or an operator when you're a welder, but it's like it's a nice break for me sometimes. Like I don't mind doing the jobs that are easier on your body because it all pays the same. At the end of the day, whether I'm welding or I'm sitting in a machine or if I have to fire watch, I'm still making that same hourly wage.
Yeah, I feel that because I'll jump in whatever machine, even though it'd be like technically beneath me, whatever to get the job done. It all pays the same. Even
Yeah.
if I was out laboring, don't even care.
So, with your job, do you guys have a slow season? Do you experience a lot of layoffs or anything?
Yes and no. Like in like the first years of operating, I was in like residential, and in residential they do a lot of wintertime layoffs. And then I was like, I can't do these winters off anymore. So like I was in mining for a bit. They don't do winter layoffs because you move skeg in the winter. And now I'm in industrial and we work all year round. And the only time really a layoff comes is if the job is done. But a lot of the times there's always like a job right after the other one. So I've been working constantly for the last like 4 years.
I feel like I know a lot of Canadians that are in the mining industry right now. That was my next question though, was what kind of job sites do you generally work at? Like right now I'm working at wastewater treatment and I've done a lot of pharmaceutical.
Okay. Yeah, like with this company right now, it's a lot of industrial. So I did like compressor stations, like pipeline compressor stations. And then recently I've been on a job that was building a hydrogen plant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like the chemical plants a lot.
Yeah, I
They
think it would fit right in there with all the piping and the welding and stuff that goes on there for sure.
they scare me. They scare the absolute shit out of me because I'm like, this is a bomb. This is a bomb.
It's not a live site yet because it's still in
Okay.
the works. Yeah, like, but I've been on live sites and off live sites. But this one is all like green right now. It's not,
Yeah.
nothing's running yet. It's just
Nice.
ground up, which is
I
cool.
like new construction a
Me too.
lot too because
Yeah.
it's normally a lot better, but I do a lot of work at a ethanol plant and it's been operating since 2000 whatever, whenever the government made ethanol a big deal here.
Yeah.
Well, it is seriously like they have a lot of problems. Everything's breaking down there. They're running at like 150% over their capacity, I think. I'm just like, this is a bomb. This is a bomb.
Sounds like it's ready for some replacements.
We do well, it's like nonstop work there. Literally my whole career I've done 2 shutdowns every year there and basically like constant little jobs in between fixing stuff and
Yeah.
emergency repairs and 17-hour days in their boiler and like yeah, but it I think honestly I think that ethanol is going to be something that goes away, especially in Michigan because are they doing a lot of solar up in Canada yet?
A little bit. Yeah, there's a couple actually solar places like land of solar panels kind of close to where I live. But
Th-
I think in more wind, there's more windmills going up than I know about than solar panels.
We have a lot of wind, like in our flat areas, like I want to say like Iowa, like Nebraska, and we have some in Michigan as
Yeah,
well. But the new thing that the government is subsidizing is solar, and it's like all the farmland has been getting sold. The state sold 420 acres of a state park to clear cut and put solar panels on. And I'm just like, why are we not doing this on like parking structures or like somewhere the
uh,
state park? Are you fucking kidding me? Like one of the biggest camping areas in downstate Michigan and they did I'm sick about it. I'm sick.
yeah, and then, oh, it's the oil field and the oil sands are bad because we chop down trees and whatever, and then all of a sudden they're chopping down trees for their solar panels too, right?
Well, what gets me is like some of our biggest oil production is in Texas and
Mhm.
New Mexico, and I've been there and there's nothing. Like let them frack the frick out of that area.
I don't know if you know much about Canada, but Alberta is like we are Canada's Texas essentially.
Yeah, yeah. You're the frozen Texas.
The cold frozen Texas,
Yeah, because if Texas had that kind of cold they did a few years ago and literally it like ruined.
yeah.
Dude, it was bad. It was all their plants froze up, literally everything. But yeah, but where I was getting at with the solar and the government subsidies is all that field corn that used to go towards ethanol is now going to be replaced with solar panels and it's going to eventually, I think, come be the end of ethanol, which is kind of interesting, which
It is interesting.
yeah.
I know that they're like kind of banking on hydrogen being another big fuel source is what
Hydrogen is scary to me.
yeah. Like I know Toyota is making a hydrogen car. I think it's available in the States, but not here yet.
That's crazy. I didn't even know about
They
that.
want to do like hydrogen powered like airplanes, cars, everything. They're saying it's the next big thing. So we'll see.
I have not heard anything about that yet, but that's
I've
really
only heard because I
cool.
was building a hydrogen plant and that's what they were like
Yeah,
posting about. But
that's crazy. Yeah, I know a lot of them have been going up too, so
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Where do you see yourself in your career in the next 10 years?
if I don't know, if I'm not operating equipment, I was kind of thinking about maybe getting into crane operating.
Ooh.
That was like maybe the next step because I feel like I'm topped out and I want to learn more, but I want to keep operating. And like seeing Morgan do her thing, I'm like, I think it's possible.
I was curious. I was gonna ask if you knew her. I
Yeah, we
absolutely
were on a
love
set
her.
together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love her. She is such like she's such an advocate for women in the trades.
yeah,
I love talking to
I
her.
love her too. She's so
So
good.
are you're part of her group probably then?
Yeah, yeah,
So
you
of
betcha.
course you have no problem finding female friends because you guys all get to
I've only ever been to one meetup so far because they were going to a distillery, and I was like, yeah, let's go.
let's fucking go.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to start one up for like the Midwest because I have a blue collar women group chat.
yeah,
Literally, there's so many girls from like Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana in there. I'm like, we all need to literally like
get
do what
together.
you guys are doing and
Heck
start
yeah.
having meetup.
Heck yeah. Like all of my closest friends that are like really close to me are all definitely women that I've met in the trades. Most of them. So
See, in my area, we are so few and far between still. We're getting like more and more, and I have like one friend who's in the trades, but we're not that close. But she did like dog sit my dogs for me for a while. But I don't know. I think in the next 10 years, we'll see a big influx of women in the trades because of all the work that everyone's been doing on social media
yeah,
and
I'm
bringing
hoping so.
awareness.
It'd be nice to see more of them out there and getting
It
it done.
would, which is funny because at first when I got into the trades and it was all men, I was like, I kind of like it because there's no drama. But like, because I used to work in the restaurant industry, I've like done a lot of like waitressing and stuff. And the girls were always so freaking mean to me. Like, I literally could not. Like I could not make a single friend at
Yeah,
any like restaurant job I had, and I was just like I'm like, is there something wrong with me? But then I found my community of like tradeswomen on TikTok,
yeah.
and I'm just like, okay, maybe I just wasn't like seeking the right women to be friends with. I don't know.
I feel like us blue collar women are wired differently in the brain a little bit than the other ones.
We really are because on like one hand, I do like doing kind of manly things, but I like doing girly things too.
Hmm.
But like, I don't know. Yeah, it's so funny.
I feel you too. I do a
It
lot of like cars and blue collar, and then like sometimes you want to feel feminine, do feminine things instead of looking like a man all the time.
Yeah, no, that too. And I try at least like once a week to like bring out my feminine side, and like I got my nails done for the first
Yes,
time since I joined the trades. Literally it's been like 6 years since I got a set of nails. I'm like they don't even do them the same anymore like
no,
that as they used to. I'm like I feel old, but
I never get mine done because I'll like smash them, and I'm like, ah, that hurts.
so, you know what was my final decider that I was like, fuck it. Literally, like a month or two ago, I was leaving for work in the morning. I was taking my trash out and I was like carrying all my shit for the day out to the car at once. And I don't even know how, but like when I lifted the trash can lid and threw the bag in there, mind you, I just had my natural nails. Somehow my nail got caught and ripped all the way back. And it was the most extreme pain that I've been in. Mind you,
Mm,
I'm freaking
yeah,
covered in tattoos. This is the most extreme pain I've been in
yeah,
years. Literally, literally. And I was like, fuck it. If I'm gonna hurt myself with no nails,
yeah,
I also have a photo shoot with my dogs this weekend, so I
yeah,
wanted to have nice nails. But
yeah.
I had them all week at work, and I just wore gloves, and they're still like,
Mint,
has it? Oh, it's only been a week, I guess. Yeah, but still.
pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
all of them still, and they're not fucked up, so
I don't know why weird hand injuries like are like the worst pain ever. Like
literally.
last year at work, I squished my pinky between two pieces of form ply, and then all of a sudden a bruise started growing out on the nails. Like, please, please don't come off, please. And then it came off, and I was like, this is so gross, so fucking gross.
When I was little, I was not smart. I lived way out in the country. There's nothing to do, nobody around. So I collected rocks, and I'm like, I think there is a geode in this rock. There is not no fucking geode in the rock, but stupid ass me, I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this rock and smash it against this giant boulder with
Yeah.
my hand, and I straight up just smashed my finger like in between the rocks. Yeah, lost that fingernail, same exact
Oh,
situation. But I learned my lesson,
yeah.
and it's just yeah, it sucks. The only well, I guess I've had 2 injuries in the trades. I I cut myself from like here to here with like a razor blade, like straight up down to the tendons, and had to go get stitches, and like literally couldn't bend my finger for like weeks. And then I burned myself really bad too.
Yeah.
But none of that's permanent. Well,
No,
I survived, so
I haven't had many job site incidents that like harm my body because I'm like in a cab. I like one time
yeah.
closed my hand in the door and it hurt for a little bit. Not
That's-
picky
No offense.
situation, but I've been like I'm in a cab where it's like safe.
Yeah, if you have an incident, it's gonna be bad, like a
Yeah,
bad deal. Like,
yeah,
yeah. I've thought about that because I'm like, I worry about like rolling the sky track and stuff, which I know is probably not gonna happen unless I'm like driving around with the boom way out and up on
yeah,
unlevel ground, which I know better. But
yeah.
still, sometimes my coworkers have me doing sketchy stuff and I'll be like so tilted and I'm just like, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I've never rolled anything. I've definitely like hit other equipment.
As long as it's not a car, it's fine.
Yeah, I hit like a gas line once that was live. That was a thing.
I have been on many job sites that live gas lines have been hit. It's been a long time though. You know what? When I first started, it was like my first year. Multiple times we had to evacuate our job site because they would hit gas lines. And I'm like, this is normal. This just happens all the time. Duh.
But
And
it doesn't
then
actually in the like grand scheme of things. You're like, no, this doesn't
no,
happen.
like it really doesn't. I have seen a water line hit really bad once, like since then. But any other time, nothing was live yet. It was
Yeah,
like still ongoing, which I'm like, screw you guys. Now I gotta dig that up and fix it, but you're gonna help me and you're gonna pay for it now.
yeah, yeah. In my situation, it was like I was stripping topsoil, and this they must have did like directional drilling of this like little gas line. It was like a 6 or 8 inch or something. It's been years since that happened, but
Hmm.
it wasn't even a foot under the ground, and I ripped it right in half. We've hydrovaced it on each end of my strip area, and it was 2 meters down on each side, and it just like shot up, and I just ripped it right in half.
Oh my god.
I was working overtime. No one else was there. I was working late to get the stripping done for the next day, and then I had to like call the foreman and be like, "Hey, I hit a gas line. I shut my machine off. I ran. I need a cigarette so fucking bad right now."
Period.
That's
No,
smoke.
so at the pharmaceutical plant that I was at, we basically like flooded a 20-foot ditch within a matter of a few minutes because I think they blamed the excavating company because they were actually ended up kicked off the whole site and had to like give all their contracts over because it happened not only to us but like to multiple contractors that were working with them, and I think this was like the final straw. So after that, everything on that job had to be like hydrovac, and they would have to like work ahead of us for
Yeah,
because they had so much they'd have lines that were abandoned and they didn't even know what was in them. Like it was crazy. Absolute craziness. If you could give one piece of advice to a woman who's just starting out in your trade, what would it be?
and it's gonna be hard at first, and take it as a challenge. Ask as many questions as you need, and if something doesn't seem right safety wise, say something because you don't know if someone isn't gonna make it home that night to their families, and it was something that you noticed and didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, it's definitely better to be safe than sorry. And I will also definitely say that the first year is the hardest, and
Yeah,
after that, it only gets easier. Like, there were so many times in my first year that I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And if
yeah,
I would have, like, doubted myself and not kept trying, I wouldn't be where I am today. But also on the other end, like you were saying, and we have touched a lot on safety this episode, so I like that. You don't realize, like, everybody talks about safety and we have safety meetings and you have to watch all these videos and like the consequences, and they say that the rules are written in blood because they are. Like, these rules exist because somebody was seriously hurt, maimed, or killed doing our jobs at one point in time. And you really don't realize it, I guess, until you have an accident like around you, or like that your company is at, that and someone ends up dying. Like, for
Yeah.
example, we have a lot of battery plants going up this year in Michigan, and there's a lot of traveling contractors working at them. So my understanding is they were pressure testing a line with air or something, and I don't know exactly what failed, but a flange basically like blew off and hit a dude
Yeah.
in the head, and he lost his life. And it was really close to home. Like, it's less than 2 hours away. Like, our union sheet metal workers, like, from my company are there. And it's just like, it makes you realize, like, air testing is something we do not
Hmm.
every day, but regularly. And, sometimes you just take that shit for granted. And then you, like, realize, like, yeah, we do. We need to be safe.
I've had two fatalities in my career, and one was somebody that was pretty close, and the other one was just like happened on the site that I was on, and both kind of in situations right before Christmas, people's minds aren't on task, this, that, whatever. Like, the first one was a haul truck ran into the back of another haul truck, and we had that moment of silence on Christmas. And that's kind of just okay, like, you got to really look out. Like, we're running huge machines sometimes, even the small ones too. They can do damage too. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I don't want to be like the person that preaches the safety thing, but like, when you're operating equipment that could literally kill somebody, you got to be on par all the time, especially when you're on those sites that are like so busy and there's
Yeah.
people fucking everywhere, right?
That's
Yeah.
like the site I'm on now and operating at with our Skytrack. I go so slow
Yeah.
because people will just walk out right behind you while you're backing up,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Are you new to operating? Why are you being so slow and so careful?" And I'm like, "So I don't kill you, so I don't drop this $14,000 valve, like,
Yeah.
literally, like, because also, and this is another one that was close to home, here in Michigan, like, not too far from where I am, dude literally was ran over by a slow moving piece of equipment on a job site and lost his life. Like, yeah, so that's why I'm careful. Like, and I don't care. They can talk all the shit they
Yeah.
want, but guess what? I'm not dropping shit and I'm not running anybody over. Was there anything else that you wanted to add today?
No.
I think we covered a lot of the things that I generally like to talk about.
We talked a lot of shit.
We did. We talked a lot of shit. And we gotta.
Was there anything else that you wanted to bullshit about?
No, I think that we covered pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for joining me. I think you gave some really good advice. And so, for anybody new that's out there listening, and if you're struggling in your first year, just like keep in mind, it is only going to get easier literally by the day. So, hang in there. And thank you so much for joining me today, Cassie.
Thanks for having me. That's
Yeah, of course.
wicked.
We will see you all on the next episode, and make sure you subscribe.